Hello, everyone. Today I will be discussing my capstone, in which is the title of "The Causes of Redlining" uh, within the Albany and Troy communities of New York State. So the reason why I chose this topic is because for the past 3 years, I've been volunteering at within Troy at Catholic Charities. Um, Within a program that they call Sunnyside, which is a daycare slash after school program. So I redlining for me was a way of not only getting to know Albany and Troy more as cities, but also to figure out why they could be facing some of their social injustices and how the redlining from the past has affected the communities within Troy and Albany within modern day. Um, Also, throughout this topic, I realized that I also have suffered from redlining. So this was a way for me to know why my life could have been different from others um, in a way. So while I was talking to a lot of people, they didn't know what redlining was. So um, here's just like a quick snippet of what it is. Um, there's two maps on the left hand corner. So if you see the bigger one is Albany, the one that's all the way to the left, and the one that's on the right is the Troy one. Um, so basically, redlining, what it did was separated neighborhoods into different zones. Um, this was a strategy used by white communities to make sure to keep people of color away from their neighborhoods and to keep their prestige in a way. So the red zone, in which is transitions to redlining, is these red blocks that you see. They stood for hazardous, but and within those areas, it's where mostly people of color live. Through there, they face different hardships, different struggles, and if they try to move to another community, either real estate agents will give them a bigger loan than what was needed, will sell the house at a higher price. Um, the white neighbors would tend to move away from that neighborhood itself and would sell their houses at a lower price to real estate agents, and which then the real estate agents would sell the houses at a higher price to Black families. Um, this turned into a whole entire chain of really real estate agents taking advantage of Black families, in which led to different social injustices happening. Um, but that right there is the basis of what redlining is. So within my literature review, um, I use three main books, and as well as I spoke about um, really what we see today, and which falls under socioeconomic inequality. Um, this chart right here that was done in a Pew Research Center um, shows how really the income wealth for the top 1% has increased over the years, while the income for lower for families that fall under the lower income have only just been decreasing over the past few years. So as for the three books, I picked one was written by Taylor, the other one was written by Ruffenstein, and the last one was written by Chantal Lane. Sorry if I said that wrong. Um, but the book about Taylor basically spoke about what I just mentioned that redlining is basically how the banks and real estate industries would hike, like increase the prices for the loans that Black families will have to pay, in which made it not only harder to get a home, but also made it harder to move away from certain neighborhoods that might be just decreasing in the quality of life, and maybe sewage system not taken care of, just a different habitable issues that could be happening. Um, with Wolfenstein's book, he talked about segregation, in which he labeled redlining to be a de facto segregation, where the government was really the leading cause between uh, that caused redlining to happen. As excuse me, it was banks that took over and caused all these different measures to happen. So it was basically more like a strategy to separate, in which since the Black families were within the hazard zones, their label was of a person was lesser than those of someone from the white community. Uh, Shan- oh, for the last book, it really talked about food insecurity and how people, well, families within the lower income are really struggling to be able to have healthy foods, and which is causing mm, different types of health issues within their bodies and a whole bunch of different aspects. Okay, so as for my findings, um, I have three different sections. One is home ownership, food insecurity, and the last one would be nonprofits. So as for section one, I wanted to focus on home ownership. And so basically what I did, I went into the census data and looked up different percentages when it came to employment, uh, people that own homes and people that rent. So within Albany, as you can see, with for employment, 60.5% were white, 57.4 were black. When it came to unemployment, 5% were white, 10.9% were black. Um, when it came to owning homes, 37.5%. And then for renting, it was 62.5%. For Troy, employment was 57.5 were white, 55.6% were black. For unemployment, it was 10.7% white, 18.7 black. When it came to owning homes, 35.5%, and to renting, 64.5%. So basically, what I wanted to see was um, what's the differences between employment and unemployment, and if this has played a factor within the how many people own homes or they end up renting. From my research, I learned that a lot more people end up renting, but this could be because of different reasons. Um, it could be because there's a lot more buildings than there are homes. It could be that there's people that own the homes and they're renting to other people, or it could be that people just don't have enough income flow to be able to buy their own homes. So with this, there could be different factors towards why there's a higher percentage when it came to renting. Um, so it could be different statuses. Um, so yeah. So when it came to food insecurity, um, I asked my partner at Catholic Charities to see if they can send me their charts when it came to food pantry data. So I have two charts. Here's my first chart. It goes from, you read it from the top to the bottom. This is the chart for 2018 to 2019. I'll give you a second to look at it. Okay. And then here's my second chart. You read it from top to bottom. Um, this chart is from 2019 to 2020. They are doing, or they're doing right now, a 2020 to 2021, but it's not done yet. Uh, so the three main locations that I wanted to focus on are the last three food pantries, in which is the Roki Center, the Sister Marine Josie, and the St. John's and St. Anne's. Um, these three food pantries are either located within the south side of Albany or within Troy. So the Roki Center is within Troy, and the other two are within Albany. So something that I really wanted to point out that really stuck out to me was, within the years that have passed, the Roki Center has had 206 new people joining and visiting the food pantry. The Sister Maureen Josie food pantry has had 491 new individuals going to that location. And the St. John's and the St. Anne's has had 129 people joining, visiting that location. Um, so these numbers really show that people are going through a food necessity, and thanks to Catholic Charities, those needs are being met. But also, it speaks to the social injustice going on with people really lacking food. Um, Maybe there's, as you see from the unemployment percentages, maybe there's people not having enough income to buy healthy food or meet certain food standards for their families. Um, so these numbers really demonstrate that people are just becoming more and more in need of food, and the food insecurity within people is just getting worse. So for my third section, I wanted to go over nonprofits, because as I've been working under ACE and Bonner for it within working for the partner Catholic Charities at Sunnyside, I felt like this is an important topic to me, because it really talks about organizations that are trying to bridge the gap and give citizens and community members and try to meet their needs. Um, really, each organization tries their best and to help the communities. So as for TRIP helps community members find housing, as well as teach them how to rebuild their credit. Um, so they give different opportunities. Soulfire Farm is an Afro farming indigenous um, organization. So basically, they teach people of color or anyone that shows up how to farm and different techniques. But something important is that they also give a percentage of what they grow within their farm to the communities. So this way, community members can grow fresh food. As for Catholic Charities, as you saw, they had food pantries located at different locations with throughout the tri-state area. Um, but they also do multiple different stuff, so like Sunnyside, and which is like a daycare center and after-school program. Each of these organizations really just tries to help community members have a shot at as equal living or as to have a normal lifestyle towards what that's considered within daily life. So this section was something that I could relate to because I've been serving within Troy at Sunnyside for the past 3 years. So I feel like these organizations are something important, especially when you can see that redlining has really transitioned into like different modes within the modern day and can be seen throughout different things. So really, this is the end of my presentation. Um, what I hope that my capstone would do is inspire students to maybe want to research more redlining. As I said before, every single time I spoke about my topic to different students, they really didn't know what redlining was. So I would have to really explain it to them. So my hope is to really introduce and inspire people to maybe take my research further as they can maybe conduct interviews within um, the certain areas and see if maybe there's a different type of lifestyle that people can have between those areas that were once in the green and those areas that were once considered red. Um, but really, my main topic was to my main purpose. I'm sorry, was to really give myself a way of self-reflection of how redlining has affected myself, but also to see how redlining has affected members of Troy and Albany studies, to see how maybe these struggles that people are facing is not something that um, how would you phrase it? Something that's not their fault. Something that, you know, it's just has transitioned through generations and has made them struggle in different ways. Um, so that'll be all. Thank you for listening. This topic was something close to me and that I somewhat lived through. So this is something that also guided me to do my research. And here's my reference list. And thank you so much.